Hello, and welcome to the Sullivan County Democrat Podcast Weekly News Review, brought to you by the Kitchen Table Cafe in Callicoon, New York. I'm Managing Editor Joe Abraham, and here are this week's top stories. Back in July, it was announced that the Skilled Nursing Unit, a 64-bed nursing and rehabilitation center located at Garnet Health Medical Center Catskills, Harris campus, that offers short-term and long-term nursing care, was slated to close at the end of September. Since then, the hospital has worked with the families of the 39 residents they had at the time to find placement for them. With September having come to a close, the Democrat reached out to Garnet Health Medical Center Catskills CEO Jonathan Schiller for an update. As of Monday morning, the SNU had 19 remaining residents, and Schiller noted if all transfers that are scheduled to occur, they'll probably have about 10 residents by this past Thursday or Friday. Schiller said during the process, one of the challenges they've had is that although there are plenty of empty beds in the area, there's not enough staff in those nursing homes to care for the patients. Schiller said, quote, "That's been the rate-limiting factor to helping residents transition into a nursing home. When we talk to other nursing homes, the vaccine mandate is part of their staffing challenge. Across the state, there's a staffing challenge at nursing homes and hospitals, but the mandate is adding another layer of challenge." Schiller further stated that while they're not accepting new residents, the SNU will likely be open for several more weeks as they continue to transition remaining residents to a new nursing home. Back in July, when discussing reasons for the decision to close the SNU, Schiller explained that the nursing home reimbursement has been very challenging, especially for hospital-based nursing homes, with changes made several years ago at the federal level. Schiller said as a result, they've seen two significant changes in the nursing home industry. The first is that nursing homes need to be at 95% occupancy to remain sustainable. The second, according to Schiller, is that in order to get there and gain economies of scale, nursing homes are becoming part of large regional and national chains, which he noted has happened locally at the Roscoe Nursing and Rehab Center, Achieve Rehab and Nursing Facility, and most recently, the Care Center at Sunset Lake. Schiller added that over the past several years, the SNU has been struggling financially and losing money, with 2020 representing a $1.4 million loss. The hospital has had to subsidize the annual losses at the SNU, which Schiller said they are not in position to do anymore, especially when there are other quality nursing homes in the county that aren't full. He also noted that they needed to use the financial resources they'd been using to subsidize the nursing home to continue to grow their outpatient services. Some of the services mentioned include mental health, as well as substance use disorder and opiate addiction services. He said they're also continuing to recruit specialists. Reflecting on the process of finding SNU residents placement thus far, Schiller said that it's been surprisingly collaborative with the Department of Health, the families, the New York State Office of the Ombudsman, and the receiving facilities. He said, quote, "I think we would probably have it completed by now if there weren't those staffing challenges." In other news, human remains that were found in the town of Damascus, PA last year have been positively identified as those of Selena Usul, according to a press release issued by the Wayne County Coroner's Office on Thursday. He was a Narrowsburg resident who was reported missing on June 13, 2004. He was a resident at the Narrowsburg home for adults on State Route 97 when she left without her medication and was not seen or heard from again. Identification comes more than a year after the remains were discovered. On April 3, 2020, the Wayne County Coroner's Office and other law enforcement agencies responded to High Bridge Road near Milanville after human remains were reportedly discovered by someone picking trash up along a dirt road. The Wayne County Coroner's Office has continued to investigate the death of that unidentified individual with assistance from the Pennsylvania and New York State Police, a state police canine unit, dentist, a forensic artist, and multiple forensic anthropologists, including a collegiate forensic anthropology team from Mercyhurst University in Erie, Pennsylvania. Investigators also utilized the National Missing and Identified Persons System with assistance from other individuals and partnership agencies. The Wayne County Coroner's Office has determined the manner of death to be homicide. They said, quote, "While the primary cause of death is inconclusive due to the span of years between death and discovery, complicated by advanced decomposition to skeletal remains, the evidence affirms that this death was inflicted by another person." State police in New York and Pennsylvania continue to investigate the case. Shifting gears to the Care Center at Sunset Lake, it was announced in a press release on Tuesday afternoon that Sullivan County and its new operating consultant for the Care Center, Infinite Care Management, have agreed to a deal to pay $226,000 in school taxes due on the Care Center property for 2021. Legislative Chairman Rob Doherty said, quote, "We were in talks with the town of Liberty about remaining tax exempt. The town opted to assess the tax for the first time on that property in nearly a half century. We discussed this with Infinite Care and they said they were willing to pay it." Town of Liberty assessor Vanessa Kelder told the Democrat that when the county transferred ownership of the Care Center, Sunset Lake LDC, it no longer fell under the tax exemption it had. Therefore, the exemption came off. Kelder said Sunset Lake LDC did not apply for a new exemption on March 1st, 2021. She further explained that since it's already past September, the tax rolls are already out and they had to pay the school taxes. She said, quote, "They have every opportunity to give me an exemption that they believe they qualify for, which the town does not opt into. And there's no exemption that falls under LDC. That's why the county's given the LDC money to pay the taxes. They're not fighting me on it." Liberty Supervisor Frank DeMeo added that, quote, "We didn't do this to hurt the county. The assessor did what was appropriate under the law." Doherty explained that earlier this year, the county and the Sunset Lake Local Development Corporation had spent a great deal of time researching and vetting a number of potential operators for the care center. He said, quote, "We found out our partner for the next 20 years is led by people of their word, and they're going to pay the tax. It's a win-win. County taxpayers won't be on the hook for this, and the Liberty Central School District will have an unexpected $226,000 more to educate our children." In order to avoid penalties and surcharges, the county legislature agreed on Monday to forward the $226,000 from their general fund to the Sunset Lake LDC, which will pay the full bill by the September 30th deadline. Legislator Nadia Reich abstained from the vote as she sits on the LDC board. Infinite Care will reimburse the LDC the portion of the taxes for the period Infinite Care has been and will be operating the care center, which is September 20th, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. And the LDC will reimburse the county for the July 1st, 2021 to September 20th, 2021 period. Going forward, Infinite Care will continue to pay the taxes on the property. Doherty said, quote, "It's important to pick good, trustworthy partners, and we have that in Infinite Care." Switching over to some economic development news, preliminary job data recently released for August 2021 by the New York State Department of Labor revealed that Sullivan County's private employment sector grew the fastest year over year in the region, up 11.2%. The biggest area of growth was in the leisure and hospitality sector with 2,100 more jobs. The county's unemployment rate was also down year over year. Sullivan County has a lower unemployment rate than its neighbors in Ulster and Orange counties. Putnam leads the region with 4.7% unemployment rate for August 2021. And finally, for the past 38 years, Dr. Paul Salzberg has treated generations of patients ranging in age from newborn babies to senior citizens. His family medicine practice on Route 97 in Callicoon has been a resource for thousands in a rural area where access to health care can prove challenging. Now Dr. Salzberg is hanging up his stethoscope and ending his practice, officially retiring as of yesterday. The legacy of care he leaves behind in the hearts and the minds of those he treated and his contributions to the field he helped advance will remain. Dr. Salzberg was the guest of honor during a special ceremony at Garnet Health Medical Center Catskills Grover M. Herman Hospital on Wednesday. Surrounded by family, friends, and colleagues, he cut the ribbon on a $1.1 million project which modernized that facility's emergency department, which is now named in his honor. Jonathan Schiller, CEO of Garnet Health Medical Center Catskills, said, quote, "Dr. Salzberg has been caring for patients in our community and in our hospital for nearly 40 years as a medical staff leader and as a community health leader. He has served on many committees in our hospitals, helping to make the difficult strategic decisions that keep our organizations pointed in the right direction and focused on the right things. Despite the gravity of that work, in every conversation I've had with Dr. Salzberg, he always keeps the patient in the center." Presented with an award for his decades of work, Salzberg thanked those in attendance, including his family, as well as the nursing and auxiliary staff he worked with over many years. He said, quote, "This award is not mine alone. I'm very humbled and very grateful." That does it for this week's episode of the Sullivan County Democrat Podcast Weekly News Review, brought to you by the good folks at the Kitchen Table Cafe in Callicoon, New York. We hope everyone has a great weekend and stay safe out there.